Hello, my name is Chef Luis Cortez. I'm a personal chef, and today we're gonna do a recipe that I believe a lot of people enjoy. It's called creme brulee. It's a European dish, dessert that it's fairly basic and easy. It's a custard, so we can start with eggs, some cream, some just granulated sugar. I add a little bit of cornstarch to it to make sure that it gets the consistency that I want. A touch of some sea salt, and then in the end we can put some berries, and then I have a little extra sugar because we coat the top once it's cooled down. We coat the top with some sugar, and we torch the top. We burn the top of the sugar. So and I have some whipped cream and some berries that I'm going to put on the end of it. So I do my creme brulee a little different. I cook it first inside of a pan, and then I end up letting it cool down. I don't do the oven. I don't know. It's different. Why do I do that? I'm not sure. I just learned this way. It's easier for me to do it. I have it cooked already. I do like a sort of what was called maybe a pastry cream, if you know what that is. And I make that. I put that in my molds, so I don't have to take it into the oven. I don't, have to be worrying about whether it's going to burn or not, or if I went past the time or not, or if it has air bubbles in it, or etc. So I eliminate that fact. So we're gonna start with heating up our cream. I got about roughly 2 cups of this is heavy cream. And so what I do is here while that's warming up a little bit, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start separating my egg whites and my egg yolks. So we want to utilize the yolks. Egg whites, you can use it for your breakfast, for really high protein breakfast if you like. Um, you don't need to throw them away, but just to make sure you try your best not to get as minimal amount of the egg whites into mixed in with the egg yolks. I use the shells to basically separate it. Some people use their hands. I don't do that. It's just a little messy. A lot of times you have the egg whites, into your elbows. So I got 5 large eggs. Now I'll take about my half a cup of sugar, about a teaspoon of cornstarch, a teaspoon of vanilla, and a little that little dash of sea salt, that little saltiness inside of the desserts, just a touch, helps balance out the sugar in it. So I mix this in really good. Make sure the sugar breaks down pretty much. It's not going to be perfect. So while this is heating up, I let it heat up pretty good, just to about a simmer. Once it comes to close to a boil, I don't let it boil 100%, but once it comes to close to a boil, then that's when I lower my temperature, and then I put it on like a low heat, not a medium low or low heat, because I don't want to overcook my eggs. With this method, you got to be very careful not to overcook your eggs, because then you'll have scrambled eggs, or sweet scrambled eggs, and you don't want that. So right here, I got to my slight boil, and then now as I'm adding this, I make sure I am stirring the milk, and make sure it's not just sitting in the pot and cooking. It's cooking, but I'm stirring it. Get a little bit inside the bowl to get that excess out. So I get my big whisk, and I make sure I keep whisking it. Make sure it's at a medium low, just a low. So we keep this until it thickens to like I don't know, the cream of corn maybe, And you can take a little taste to see if the flavors are balanced. And yes, they are. Very simple recipe, and a lot of people enjoy it because you have in the end when you burn that caramel on top, you have that crispiness on the top, that sugar that you burned, and then you have the cream, the custard on the bottom. So it's basically like a reverse of a flan, a Latin flan. A flan, the caramel is on the bottom of it, but this one is on the top. So I'm gonna shut it off because I think we reached our temperature, and there's always gonna be some carryover heat inside of it, and so you just account for that. While there's still heat, you keep stirring until that temperature drops a little bit because you don't want to overcook this. You want the egg yolks to be fully cooked and but not to turn into scrambled eggs. Just gonna give it a little more heat just to make sure. Once I see one bubble pop up from the heat, I'm done. Okay, I'm done. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill my ramekins. That's done. Basically want to tap that a little bit. Make sure everything is evened out. There's no air pockets in it. If I see any little bubbles or anything, I just break them. There's usually not. You want it to be really flat. These are done. You can cook them. I mean, you can cool them down for about 3 or 4 hours in your fridge. Have the caramel on top. You create the caramel. I got two right here that's already done, and I'm just gonna put that caramel on top and show you how it looks. So I got my torch here. I'm trying to burn it evenly. You can probably use brown sugar if you like. Some people like to use brown sugar. But I just use granulated sugar, regular granulated sugar for this here. Inside the recipe and on top. That you let it cool down for a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, and you can put your berries on there. Once it cools down, there you go. Your creme brulee. You can hear a little caramel on top. Berries, decorate with a little bit of berries. And a little bit of mint if you like. So, there you go. My creme brulee. Fast and easy. Takes about 15 minutes to cook and to get into the bowls, and then about 3 or 4 hours to cool in your fridge, and make your caramel, and you put your berries and your whipped cream on top with your mint. People love the recipe. Uh, Share, like, and follow me, please. I'm personal chef Luis Cortez, Savor and Gather. Thank you very much.